What's going on, YouTube? It is your girl Lauren Finesse, and I am back again with another video as agreed. I was about to say as planned, but the plan was actually for like Saturday or Sunday, and the weekend just got away from me. So today is Monday, April 4th, but I'm here. What did I say? We're going to talk about Black women in tech, women in tech in general, and really tech. Just what is tech? What is technology? So I put together some notes because I wanted to make sure that I was really giving you guys some good information because of the feedback that I got from my last video. Just to kind of catch you guys up, you know, I work for a technology company, and there's not a lot of us in the rooms, whether it be Black women. I mean, there's actually a significant amount of women, but not a lot of Black women and not a lot of Black men. And this isn't necessarily a racist. Hold on, you guys, because I have my balcony open. Hold on. It's like I can hear all the sounds from outside. And it isn't that it's a race issue, but it's just that we are not in a lot of those rooms, and that's just something that I've observed over. Like I said, I've been working in tech almost 10 years, but I've specifically worked for a technology company the last 4. And the women that I have encountered, they didn't necessarily work in my position. Like in my position, I don't think I know any Black women at my company. I'm sure they exist, but I don't know them. I haven't encountered them. So like some of the Black women that I've worked with, they work in HR, they're recruiters. They're not, I'm a mobilization manager, right? They're not in the project details as I am with the client and with the, with the leads of the project and the delivery managers. Like they're not on those calls. They just work in different capacities. And it doesn't mean that they're less than or anything like that. I'm just saying there are not a lot of Black women in the positions that a lot of these other people are in. And I hope that makes sense. And I mean like, delivery and managerial type levels in technology. So with that being said, what is technology, right? Technology is such a huge umbrella of so many different things. Like technology is the umbrella, and then under the umbrella, you have all of these different industries. Now, for people that are thinking about getting into tech, the good news is there's tech in every single industry. Like there's no industry that I know of. There's no industry that tech doesn't operate in, because you need technology. It's just a thing. If you work and you have a computer or you do anything that has a standardized output, a machine, there is a level of technology in that business. So technology is the umbrella, and then all of the industries fall under it. Now, so I think if you're trying to get into tech and you don't know where you should start, first, start in an industry that makes sense for you, right? Let's say you're into fashion, right? Find a brand that you can get behind and see what type of technology jobs they have available. And we'll get into the type of jobs in a second, but find an industry or an interest of yours and then go towards that interest or industry, and you will surely find technology. It exists. So brief overview of kind of what technology does, and I kind of touched on it. So technology is really just being able to replicate the same results, right? You have an input and then you have an output. So whatever you put in, you want to have the same output at whatever level, right? Because the levels may change, the numbers may change, the populations may change, but you want to be able to put in an input and get a repeated level of results, right? You want to standardize. So anytime you need to standardize outputs, that's technology, right? Because we know computers do the thinking for us without having to think, right? If you have, in payroll, right? Which is my previous background. I worked in global payroll. If you're salaried, you want to make sure you getting paid correct every pay period, right? You don't want no outliers unless you're getting a bonus, right? But you want to make sure that you have the repeated output every single time. And you need technology, you need a platform, you need a system that does this without thinking. If you are hourly, obviously, if you're hourly, you need to put in this hours equals this hours equals that. Again, that's technology, right? So find you an industry that you like and find the technology that exists there. And that, and what that means is technology is just a process of inputs that give you a standardized output every single time, right? You want to get standardized results, right? Like that's what technology does. It just takes the work of thinking out of it and just makes it automated, right? It's automated, standardized results. So, all right. So the biggest question I think that I always get asked is about people. How do you get into tech? And do you need a degree? Can you just get a certification? Do you need experience? How can you get your foot in the door? Now, there are levels to the shit, okay? There's levels to the shit, okay? Because levels to the, anyway. It's a little meat meal. But there's levels to it, right? There are types and jobs. Get down off my couch. There are jobs that will require you to have a degree, that will require you to have a certification, right? Because it's the level of specialization in the technology. You need to be an expert or a SME, right? An SME, a subject matter expert in that field in order to what? Replicate, right? The desired outputs, right? So some of the jobs that you would most certainly need a degree to get into would be like a software developer or engineer, IT security, cybersecurity, right? And, computer programmers, solution architects. And that's kind of what I do. I'm in like the solution architect lane, right? I did not go to school for any level of IT. I have a degree in international business management. So I was able to use that to get in with a company that does international business management. And over the past year, I've really honed in that I like the technology side of what I do. So normally, like as a project manager or mobilization manager, technology is usually one aspect of my job. And the past few projects that I've been on have been technology based. Like I've been the technology lead, like this project that I'm on now. And I love it. I love being the technology lead because all of the provisioning and things go through me. And don't worry about some of these like terms. I'll come back to the terms in maybe a different video. This is really just like the kickoff video to our BWIT, Black Women in Tech series. So I'll come back later and we'll fill in some of the gaps on some of the things that I'm talking about. But just stay with me. Just stay with me, okay? Just stay with me. So you don't need a degree to get into tech, but if you want to be a software engineer in, cybersecurity, like I said, computer programmer, solution architect, you do need a degree. Does it have to be a specialized degree in technology? No, but you at least need a degree to get your foot in the door. Now, if you have a certain level of skills where you need to do like coding and programming, then yes, you're going to need a specialization degree and certification in that field, right? Because you're going to need to be able to read code. Like me, I can't read code, right? If you guys have seen code, you've seen like, it's like an alphanumerical, language, and it doesn't read like if you're reading a book, right? And it doesn't read like even if you're reading math where you get the sum. It's literally an alphanumerical string, and you have to understand what that means. And there are symbols embedded, and it's a whole lot. Okay, some of it, I will say this, I have experience and I do have some visibility to some coding, but I'm not a coder. I didn't go to school for it. I don't have a certification for it. So it's not what I do. So if you're interested in code and that level of detail as a programmer or engineer, you will need a degree. Now, the types of tech that you can get your foot in the door that you don't need a degree and you don't need a certification. Those are going to be things like if you want to be a digital marketer, if you want to be a digital coordinator, if you want to be a web designer, right? You don't need a degree or a certification to do these things. Not to take away from web designers, because web designers are very important, but you can do your own website. You know, we have sites like Wix and Squarespace where you can build your own website. You can become so proficient in creating web design that you can create. I know someone that created a business, and although she's very smart, she didn't have a background in creating websites. This is just something that fell into her lap because she was good at it. So you don't need a degree if you want to be in the space of an analyst or web designer or coordinator for like marketing coordinator. Things that you do online that require tech but don't require you to have a degree or a certification. Entry level into tech would be an analyst, right? So let me take a step back. So within tech, everything is basically logic based. The programmers and the engineers, they create platforms that as long as you know the logic of it, you will be able to carry out the tasks of that platform. So someone coming in as a data analyst, you just analyze the data and you are able to triage the problem to see if it needs to be escalated up to someone with a higher degree of proficiency, or you can triage it at your level. For instance, people that work in call centers, people that work in like a help desk environment. These are people that if you call, let's say 10 is the hardest issue, right? Your issue is at a 5. They can triage and fix your issue. If it's a 1 to 5, they can fix it. And we do this all the time. When I call my car company, or I call the cable company, I call the phone company, right? Ooh. Y'all, if y'all have not tried Ocean Spray, and I'm not even a juice girl, but if you try Ocean Spray Cran Mango, this shit is so bomb. That Cran Mango is just like something else. But anyway, we use help desk and call centers all the time. These are people that's a tech job. Like, you may not want to think about it because people think of like call centers and help desks. You don't really think of that as being an IT job, but it is. That is absolutely a job in tech. So if you are someone that wants to get your foot in the door and you don't know which industry you want to go into, whether it be finance, whether it be a labor, like you can work for an oil company and work in their technology department, right? I think getting your foot in the door would be somewhere at a call center or somewhere working on a help desk where they're going to teach you what to look for. So you are able to identify issues, and then you're able to triage those issues at your level. And then if you can't, then you escalate it up to the next level. Those are IT jobs. And don't sleep. The analyst, so let's get into salaries, right? Because everybody wants to know, what does the pay look like? Because when you think about tech, you automatically know the more experience you have, the more systems knowledge you have, you're gonna make the BWIT, the shmoney. You're gonna make that. So don't sleep on like analysts, because some of them are making a hell of a lot of money, okay? You can have, let's say, a data analyst or systems analyst, right? Again, these are people that are entry level, that are able to fix issues at a very basic level. Like I said, we're using a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. An analyst can usually fix your issue 1 to 5. Analysts probably make somewhere, they come in, okay, it could be as low as like maybe $29,000, $30,000 a year. But there are some analysts that make up to $110,000, $125,000, $130,000, $150,000 a year. You can be making 6 figures as a data analyst. Like, it's nothing to laugh at. Like, even though those are the high stress jobs, I'll say, especially in technology, like, well, in any job, any entry level job, you are dealing with the most shit, right? You're dealing with the most shit, and you probably have the most contact with people that are having issues, especially in tech, right? You are, even someone working in, like, let's say the Gap. If you are just someone that is the clothes folder or whatever, a merchant, not a merchandiser, because I was a merchant, like you just work there, right? You work the floor. You're gonna interact with a lot more people than someone who is the manager, who's always in the back, or even someone who's on the register who they encounter people as they're paying, but they don't necessarily have to help them if they're having a size issue or something like that. You know what I mean? So any entry level, especially in tech, you will work with the most of the like non-favorable instances, okay? But if you want to get your foot in the door, that's a good place to start. Now, when we're talking about software engineers and programmers and even the cybersecurity analysts, these people make, I think entry level there is probably about 50,000-60,000, and that's entry level with certification with a degree. 50,000-60,000 on the floor. They make up to $400,000 or $500,000. You could be making $500,000, $500,000 a year, just being able to understand and read code and look at issues and correct and fix and triage them, right? So it's an array of jobs. And I think in this series, we're going to talk about different things. I definitely want to get into cybersecurity because y'all, you know, that's a big one. That is a big one because everybody wants your data. You know, when you put your email in and the last four of your social and your address, there is a company that is wanting to buy that data so that they can send you spam emails, so that they can send mailers to your house, right? And even that is technology. Even that is IT, like buying data, processing the data, and using that data for whatever. Some of it is nefarious. Some people want to take your information and buy stuff, right? Listen, I know y'all know some scammers out there, okay? We done seen the scammers, okay? Shout out to the, I ain't mad at I'm not a scammer, but shout out to the scammers because they just out here. They want your data. But then there is, on a larger scale, there are a lot of data breaches. We've seen a data breach with like Target and a data breach at, what was the other one? Like Target, the Cash App, right? All these different data breaches. So I want to do a video specifically on cybersecurity. That is definitely a big thing. And I think it's really interesting when you look at it from the perspective of people are literally 24 hours a day, people are trying to get your data. 24 hours a day. There is somebody in a dark room somewhere on the dark net trying to get your data 24 hours a day. So I think that'll be one of the videos coming up, and I think y'all will enjoy that. But getting back to this, right? So we talked about the salaries, right? And what that looks like. Do you need a degree? No, not to get your foot in the door. But everything is always based on experience, and it's always based on your experience level and your education level, okay? But it's not difficult. So I want more of the girls to like really think about getting into jobs that we don't normally get into. You know, when we're thinking about jobs, and I'm talking about us, I'm talking about Black women. When we think about jobs, we're thinking about, I want to be a lash tech. I want to be a nail tech. I want to, and first of all, and there's nothing wrong with that because a lot of those ladies are making bank and they're their own bosses. So I'm like, really shout out to them. Even me, if I had the time and the bandwidth, I would love to be a lash tech because I love me some lashes, and that is very lucrative. You have one customer and they get their lashes done and they can get their eyebrows arched, and you looking at $150 a person to $200 a person. You could be doing 4 people a day, 6 days a week, 5 days a week. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not making a knock on that at all. But I want us to broaden our horizon on what we want to do. If that's your passion and that's what you want to do, absolutely do it. But even when we go corporate, we want to work in HR. We want to be an admin assistant. And again, there's nothing wrong with these jobs, but let me tell y'all, tech, first of all, we already know technology, AI, all of that is the future. And I'm telling y'all that there's not a lot of us in those rooms, and we really could be. We really could be. When people get to talking about like, women are angry and don't be the angry Black woman, da da da. Yeah, that's a thing, and that's something that we are always conscious of, and we're always like, I don't want to be the angry Black woman. I don't want to come in like, yeah, cause da da da. Like, there's decorum and everything. But let me tell you something. They used to call me a shark at my old job because I didn't play. There's a fine line between coming in angry Black woman, and if you know what you're talking about, never be afraid, and this is in any field as a matter of fact, or any corporate job or any job, never be afraid to assert yourself and to say, this is what it is and this is what it isn't. Okay, because people will respect you. I'm telling you, clients, they care about things if it costs them money and if it don't cost them money. Like the bottom line is always financial, or customer service. Like that's always the bottom line. And as long as it makes sense and you know what you're talking about, never be afraid to assert yourself and say, no, this doesn't work, and stand by that. And let me tell you something. I've done that so many times, and I will continue to do that. And I'm not the angry black woman. I'm the person in the room that knows what she's talking about. And that doesn't have a color, that doesn't have a gender. Who know what they're talking about? Because at the end of the day, clients want results. Everything is based on results. What are we trying to get out of it? So don't be afraid to go into corporate and into some of these fields because you think you may be perceived as the angry black woman, or you may find yourself in a position where you have to take a step back so that you're not the angry black woman. And I've definitely been there. I've definitely been in some situations where I've had to take a step back, take a deep breath. But under no circumstances will I not be assertive and let the people know this works, this doesn't work, and I stand by it. And people will respect you. So I want us to get more comfortable in being in those spaces without the fear of, well, I don't want to do that because, you know, they're going to say you're an angry black woman, and you're going, and there, like I said, there's a fine line. There's a fine line. But I want us to be in those spaces because, y'all, we would be killed. First of all, you know, we kill it in everything that we do. And this is no knock to anyone else. But we always kill it in everything that we do. So I would like to see us a lot more in those spaces. The money is there. And like I said, if you want to change careers or you feel like you want something different, it is stressful, it is hectic. But the money is there. The freedom is there. For me, right now I always work with global clients. And the project I'm on right now, I'm working with the offshore team in India, in Prague, in Budapest, in France, some of everywhere, Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam. Like I'm literally working in so many different time zones with my teams that I start early. I work maybe a solid 5 hours a day. Literally, like I'll start at 6:30. I'm done by 11:30 every day. Now, do I go back in at night because I know that's their mornings, a lot of their mornings? Yes, because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, and I don't like waking up to a bunch of chaos. So I just make sure that when I log out super early, I also log back in before I go to bed. But that's a beautiful thing. When people tell you that you don't have freedom in corporate, and you know, it has a lot of negative connotations. And listen, if you want to be your own boss, I salute you. It is a difficult job. You actually probably work more when you're your own boss, right? Because there's no off switch. For me though, I like the corporate environment. I like the fast pace of the different projects. I love the intricacies of the different clients and nuances and things like that. And I work 5 hours a day. Now, it's always on my mind and I take my work serious, so sometimes it can be very stressful. But overall, when I think about my work-life balance, I definitely have the work-life balance that I need and that I want. I don't take a lot of vacations, but I'm about to change that. This year, I need to be on, that's a whole nother look. That's a whole nother video. But anyway, that is our sort of kickoff episode 2 of BWIT, okay, Black Women in Tech. But again, this is for Black women, Black men, anybody, male, female, any race, any gender. If you guys have any questions, or if there's something specific about tech that you want to get into, let me know, and I'll do my best to cover that topic. And if I don't know, I'll do some, a little bit of discovery, and then we can talk about it in a video. But I love tech, y'all. I really do. And like I said, we'll get into some more details. This was just like an introductory video, giving some broad topics of what tech is, what it does, do you need a degree, and what are the salaries, right? So let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns. Of course, I'm always willing to listen. And as always, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. It is free 99. You already know that. You already know I was going to say that. So I will see you guys in the next one. Yeah, so until then, I'll see you guys later. Yeah, that's it. Bye-bye, guys.